Algebra 1 students, welcome to today's lesson. We're going to look at solving inequalities with multiplication and division, and particularly focusing on the impact of multiplication and division by negative numbers. Alright, let's do this. So here we go, multiplying and dividing by a positive number is where we'll start. This is kind of the basics. X divided by 3 is greater than negative 1. We can simply multiply both sides of the inequality by 3. X over 3 times 3 just leaves us with x greater than negative 3. Piece of cake. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. 4t is less than negative 12. We need to undo that multiplication. Of course, we do that with division. So t is less than negative 3. Alright, why don't you pause the video, try 3 and 4. These are kind of our warm-up questions, but they're good ones to get us started before we start dealing with the negative numbers. Alright, welcome back. Now you can see my work and solutions on problems 3 and 4. On 3, you'll notice that I used the fast track of multiplying by the reciprocal. We could have done division by 2 and then multiplication by 3, or switch the order on those and it would still work. In either case we get 9, and so C is greater than or equal to 9. And then on the last one, just division by 12 to get Z by itself, so Z is less than or equal to 3/4. And you can see I wrote it with Z coming at the on the right side, or Z coming on the left side of the inequality. Notice how that switches it. Alright, speaking of switching inequalities, there are times when we work with inequalities that we do have to switch that symbol. That happens anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number. So here's an example of this, number 5. In order to get x by itself, I need to multiply both sides of the inequality by negative 6. I'm putting parentheses around these so it actually looks like multiplication. That gets rid of the negative 6's on the left. It just leaves me with an x. But what it does is force me to switch the inequality to be greater than, and it's negative times negative, so it's positive 12. Alright, let's take a look at number 6. Kind of the same idea. We're going to multiply. This time I'm going to use the reciprocal, so we'll multiply by negative 3/2. We'll do the same thing over here, negative 3/2. That leaves us with a Z. Flip that inequality so it's now less than or equal to, and we'll have a negative 3/2. We can look more in depth at why multiplying and dividing by a negative switches that inequality. The basics of it is it's just doing opposites, so it forces you to look at the other direction. But again, if that's bothering you, we'll definitely look at more details in class. Alright, pause the video again, do number 7 and then compare your answer to mine. Alright, welcome back. You can see my work. Multiply both sides by negative 3. That's of course the reciprocal of negative 1/3. That forces us to switch the inequality and leaves us with G less than or equal to negative 6. Alright, next one we want to look at, and by the way, there is a bit of a typo on your notes. Putting some yellow around this word. It is negative, not positive numbers that we're dividing by. So let's take a look at this. Negative 9h is greater than 18. This is actually the same concept as what we did on the last few. Anytime you divide by a negative number, you would also have to switch the inequality. So here we would have h is less than negative 2 because we divided by a negative number. Alright, let's look at number 9. Divide both sides by negative 3. Whenever you hear those words, divided by negative, multiplied by negative, that means you know you have to switch. It doesn't mean if you have a negative number and you multiply by a positive, or if you have a negative number, or excuse me, a positive number and you divide by a positive. It's all about what you divide or multiply by. So here we go, we have 7. We got to switch that inequality. It's going to be greater than, equal to y, or you may prefer to have the variable on the left, so we could do y is less than or equal to 7. All right, one more time, let's pause the video. Compare your answers to mine. All right, welcome back again. You can see my work on number 10. D is greater than negative 12. You may have just left it as negative 12 less than or equal to D are your solutions. And again, we had to deal with division by a negative, so it forced us to switch the inequality. All right, let's take a look at our last problem here. Number 11, r divided by 3 is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now this says to write 4 solutions to the inequality. You'll see a few of them like this. It's kind of an interesting problem. It's not really a tough problem. It's just different, and I wanted you to see it on your notes. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3, and you have to switch the inequality because you multiply a negative. Did you catch that? No, the inequality stays exactly the same. It's all about the 3, not the negative 4. We multiplied by a positive. That's fine. Don't switch that inequality, kids. All right, now that's normally where we stop. That's the solution. It's like the solution to the inequality. Any value that would satisfy it would be in this. However, this says to actually write 4 solutions. So we're going to write 4 solutions. R is greater than or equal to negative 12. So I'm going to start with negative 12. Why not? You could do numbers that are more than negative 12, like you could do negative 11. I'm just going to do consecutive integers here, negative 10, negative 9, and you could keep going if you wanted. It says 4 though, so I'm going to stop. And speaking of stopping, that's the end of your notes today. I hope this works for you. It's really like solving equations with one added rule. Divide, multiply by a negative, switch that inequality. All right, folks, have a great day. Come to class ready to work. We'll see ya.